top of the morning. So, what do you listen to when you're out here on the old morning run? Or the old afternoon or evening run, as the case may be. Well, I got some thoughts. I'll tell you what I do. One of kind of 3 categories, 4 or 5 different things. We'll walk through them today. In case you didn't notice, it's a little bit lighter than normal. I have started the old morning run myself today, a little bit tardy. Had a daddy-daughter day yesterday with my 6-year-old. Did some running, some biking, a bunch of stuff. Ended up wearing me out more than I thought it would. So I slept in unbeknownst to my internal body clock this morning. Wasn't planning on that. But here we are. And here we are on the old country road. Only thing better than running on an old country road is running on one without any traffic. How about that? All right, what do we listen to? I went to high school in the 90s, and I had the great fortune of growing up alongside some great bands who played actual music. So number 1 on the list is no surprise. It's the obvious one for runners and walkers everywhere. And if you're a short distance runner, this may be all you need. Although I'd encourage you to stick around and listen to some other suggestions. Yeah, music. I love listening to music while I'm running. You know, it's not my first choice usually, but it's an old standby that's not going anywhere. Never gonna get old. Although it's gotten different lately. Hashtag AI music, what the heck? Weird. I'll stick with my 90s rock. Heavy stuff. So, I will do a gear video at some point. But the long and short of it, I will typically carry my phone and my earbuds on every run. I went all in years back with Apple, at least as far as mobile goes. So I'm an Apple guy. Whatever, leave the hate below in the comments. It's done fantastic for me. The AirPod Pros, I think they're probably the best accessory I've ever purchased. They do great on runs. They've got a decent battery life. We're talking hours, excuse me. So it's perfectly good. Until you get into ultra territory, you gotta recharge it. But the case holds like 3 charges. So, plenty of battery. Sounds great. Water and sweat resistant. I upgraded last year, maybe the year before. I'm going on at least 12 months on these. They're just like that, they were out of the box. And then my iPhone, you know, I got brave. I usually alternate, and I'll carry my old phone as my running basically iPod, just because I'm a little paranoid about getting the phone wet and sweaty and stuff. But again, phone I'm holding right now is my regular phone. I use it day in, day out, so I can stream stuff. Sometimes I'll put it in a baggie in my back pocket, but like today, and most days under 15 miles, I'll just toss it in my back pocket, which we're definitely gonna do some gear reviews on these shorts I wear. Excuse me. These are the only shorts you'll ever have to buy. Path Projects is the long and short of it. Watch the channel for reviews coming later. All right, so music. And a little gear tip for you as a bonus. Next up, you're probably familiar with podcasting. This may be the audio of choice for some of you. And indeed, it has been my own for many a moon. I'm a pretty big fan still, although I have cut back my consumption pretty good bit the last 2 years. I still keep a queue of interesting podcasts, Ask me in the comments if you want me to rattle some off. I'm not going to think through them right now. Podcasting's great though, and especially if you're the thinker. So I do a lot of thinking out here. Stay tuned for a few more minutes, we'll talk about that. And podcasts, they just get my brain going. I like business podcasts, some newsy stuff, tech stuff, things like that. So, number 2, podcasts. These are not in order, by the way. And stay tuned for more. And of course, you may have guessed, number 3 is the precursor to podcasts, the old trusty audiobook. Massively available now, thanks to Audible, Spotify, all the usual suspects. I love audiobooks. And because I'm a distance runner, they're kind of perfect. That's what I'm listening to this morning. I am wrapping up The Whistler by John Grisham, who, by the way, I'm pretty sure the Joker's written a book a year for like 40 years now. Way to go, John. Hadn't read a dull one yet. This one's no different. I love an audiobook. Now, I'm going up a hill. Audiobooks will take a little bit more work to get into, perhaps. A lot of times, I'm gonna slow it down here. Wow, you're seeing your boy Eamon struggle. This is a little bitty hill too. Out of place on this tempo run. So much for that 7-minute mile. We're back to 8:30. All right, and back to level ground. So for the runner, like you and I, we can often be looking for that instant gratification despite knowing better. Well, that's great for your K-pop 3-minute song, not so much for your 21-hour novel. And that's okay. They're slow burns. Furthermore, there's plenty of pulp out there that's pretty entertaining, and I partake in myself from time to time. It's not all Cormac McCarthy and John Irving here. I got Grisham. I read that first book in that Jack Carr series recently, listened to. I'll do the fun stuff. But the beauty of an audiobook is the slow burn. It's going to be with you for the long run. It's going to be with you for the ultra. I don't usually listen on marathon day, just because it's a little bit shorter distance-wise. I got to get my head in the game a little bit sooner. And like the last 2 marathons, the Oak Ridge and the Knoxville that I did this year, I don't think I pulled my earbuds out. And I had them ready too. I actually had a music playlist queued up. Didn't touch it. Anyway, off the point there. For ultras especially, and I'll be doing more talks about that later in the year. Not much later either. In about less than 2 months, we're going to switch to full ultra zone. Books are perfect. Last year, 100K, Firewater. End of October. Pretty much from the get-go, I popped open the first Mistborn book. Fantasy trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. And here's the cool thing. I very vividly remember scenes of the main character Vin meeting the main crew, going about the setup for the whole book, the whole trilogy. And I remember where I was running while experiencing that. It's just kind of cool to have those pieces of time fragmented off, stuck in memory, thanks to what we're listening. So I got a fond place in my heart for audiobooks. I'll tell you this story way back. So it doesn't have to be when you're doing ultras. Way back when I was in Belhaven in Mississippi. I lived in Belhaven neighborhood. I was doing your 5-6 mile runs. Was about as long as they got. Maybe a 10 from time to time if I was feeling just goofy. So there was this audio book, what was it called? blogspot.audiobookclub.com or something crazy like that. And it was just a treasure trove. This was pre-Audible or early Audible days. This was broke barista Ammon. Yeah, found a spot I could listen to some books for free. 2001 Space Odyssey, 2010 Odyssey 2, 3001. I think there's another one in there too. There's like 4 books in that quadrilogy. Stranger in a Strange Land. Oh, what was that guy's name? That's where I first learned the term to grok something. G-R-O-K, which I think Elon has taken for his own use recently. Just some awesome sci-fi fantasy classics back then. That's when I first listened to Dune. Dune actually didn't take when I listened to it then. Came back to it later after the movie, the good movie, and really loved it. Anyway, that was in my early, not as long running days, and they were fantastic. In fact, same as the Firewater, I still remember where I was running up Riverside Road. I think that's the name of it. On the way to what is now the Children's Museum, listening to those books I just mentioned. Fun stuff. Now, the best though is yet to come. Number 4 may or may not come as a surprise. Silence. One of the best things about running is not having to listen to anything, but instead just be out here at the break of dawn of a new day in a pretty place, up on a mountaintop, on the trails, running around a park, running around your neighborhood, decompressing for the day ahead. This may be my favorite thing about running. Did a video yesterday about, is running even fun? And of course, my conclusion is yes. But this is one of the reasons that it goes beyond fun and becomes truly joyful. It's meditative. And I'm grateful for it. Let's go hit the final mile. Have a great one. Subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. The sub 3-hour marathon is coming in less than 2 months. That's what my current preparation is for. Hope you'll stick around and see how I do. Have an awesome one. Run tired.